I turned the sauce back on to get it nice and warm. Ready for the pasta's arrival. They're about to get married. It's gonna be a beautiful fusion of flavors. Welcome back to Maxi's Kitchen. I hope you are amazing. Today we are making one of my favorite dishes from a restaurant that I've recreated at home, and I swear it tastes just like the original. It's the Carbone spicy Rigatoni vodka, and it's quite easy to make, and it is just so dreamy and delicious. Let's hop in. Alrighty, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we are gonna chop up our onions and garlic. This pasta is so good. The first time I had it in New York, I described it as an out-of-body experience. I mean, it's just so amazing. The noodles like pool with sauce and then like gush and explode in your mouth with this delicious, spicy, creamy, if you've had it, you know what I mean. There's also these little, like a generous amount of caramelized onions running through the sauce. So that's what we are preparing right now. So first you cut the onion in half through the root, okay? So then you have two halves. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut off just each end, and the ends are what kind of like hold the onion together. But since we want these strips to all be separate, we don't want anything holding them together. So then peel off the outer layer where the like tough skin is, place it down, and then easy peasy, just cut the thin little strips like this. And then in the sauce, we're also gonna put 3 cloves of garlic. Whoa, boom, that went flying. I'll be right back. Take 2, place it there. I guess I'm being too aggressive. Okay, I feel like I shouldn't, I don't have a license in explaining how to do this given what just happened, but usually I just put it under the knife, smack it with the heel of my hand, and then these guys pop right out. Okay, and now we're just gonna mince this up. And can you believe we are done chopping? This is probably the least amount of chopping you guys have ever seen in any of my recipes. Woo! All right, now we're moving over to the stove. Okay, quick intermission before we go to the stove. This lemon was growing on my tree outside, on my lemon tree. I am too lazy to go check on the tree, so I just have let everything grow big. This is half of it. I posted a video of this. It has 75 million views across like Instagram, TikTok, like insane. So this lemon, you guys, is famous. So take your pictures now, because this is a famous lemon. Okay, back to the show. So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our pasta water going. So generously salt. Your pasta water should always taste like the sea. If you're not sure how much salt to add, you can taste it. The reason why you salt water is the pasta absorbs that liquid as it's cooking, and that will season it from within. And then we're gonna get this preheated. I always do the pasta water first because sometimes it just takes longer than you think it will. And then if it gets hot and you're not ready to boil the pasta yet, you can always just like turn it off and then turn it back on, but at least it's preheated. So we'll get that going. The next thing that we're gonna do is we are going to cook our caramelized onions, like medium-low heat for caramelized onions. When I'm getting the pan hot, I'll probably go to like medium just so we don't have to wait like a million hours for the pan to get hot, but then I'll turn it down because when you're caramelizing onions, they can burn easily, and we don't want that to happen. We want them to stay nice and kind of like golden brown and almost like jammy in a way. Let those sugars really develop. Okay, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of butter. All right, now we're gonna add our onions. I love this little bench scraper gadget for just like when you chop things, scooping them up, sliding them off. And now we're gonna season with salt and pepper. Now that these are going, they'll probably take like 15 to 20 minutes at a medium-low heat. So I'm actually gonna move them to the back burner. And then I'm gonna grab another pan, ta-da! And we're gonna do some multitasking. If you don't wanna multitask, you don't have to. The first time I made this, I did the onions and then I did the sauce, but it just takes longer. Since these only need to be stirred every like 30 seconds to like 1 minute, it's easy to do 2 things at once. So your choice though, your choice. All right, to pan number 2, we are adding 1 more tablespoon of butter. Let's add our garlic. And then we're just gonna saute the garlic for about 1 minute until it's fragrant. Garlic is something you don't wanna burn because it will turn kind of bitter. So just be aware of that. Be kind of gentle when you're cooking with garlic. And don't forget about your onions back here. We don't want any burned onions. To the garlic sauce, we are gonna add San Marzano tomatoes, a small can, because this recipe, by the way, is for 8 ounces of pasta, so double it if you're gonna use a full 16 ounces of pasta. Look for the San Marzano tomatoes that are from Italy. I think San Marzano is a region in Italy. Somebody fact check me. Fact check! Okay, I'm right, hopefully. What you want to do is squeeze them with your hands as you put them into the sauce just to kind of break them up a little bit. And we're also going to use their sauce. Okay, I'll be right back with this tomato hand clean. And continue to adjust. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Hold on. Don't neglect your onions. We're okay though. See, they're kind of forgiving, but you just, I think I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit. And actually what I was gonna say is, I continue to adjust my heat up and down while I cook. Like if you just feel like you're seeing too much bubbling or the pan looks like it's getting out of control, just turn the heat down a little bit. And then once it calms down, turn it up. So kind of continue to do that as you cook. To this, we are going to add Calabrian chili paste. Now this is an important ingredient. It's spicy. This is what gives it that delicious spice. It's different than like a red pepper flake, but that would be a good sub. I had to order it on Amazon because it's hard to find in stores, but it's worth it. So if you're gonna make this, get this. All right, put the paste in. We are adding vodka because it is a vodka sauce after all. And then a little bit of sugar. Sugar balances the acidity of tomatoes. So I always add a little bit of sugar in a tomato sauce, and then some salt. Okay, so now the water is pretty active boiling. I don't need it yet, so I'm just gonna turn it off for now. Now that this is bubbling, we're gonna cover and simmer it on low for about 10 minutes. We're gonna take the lid off and I'll show you what happens.
A few minutes later.
Howdy, howdy, it has been 10 minutes. Now we're gonna simmer it about 5 more minutes just so the alcohol from the vodka cooks off, and break any larger chunks of tomato up with your spatula. Also, update, the caramelized onions are going. They're looking pretty good. There's still some chunks that are like a little bit bigger. You want them all to kind of get wilted down and sort of jammy. So I'm gonna keep them going a little bit longer. Okay, and now we are gonna turn the pasta water back on high because we're gonna be ready to cook the pasta soon. And these caramelized onions are looking quite good. I feel like they're pretty much done. Maybe a teeny bit more, just a little bit. Sauce looks good. Nearing the peak of excitement for this dish where everything's gonna start coming together. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna add our cream to the red sauce. This is gonna give it that delicious creaminess. It's gonna turn kind of like pinky orange. Watch the beautiful transformation happen right now. Gorgeous. And once you put the cream in, you don't wanna burn, like milk and cream can burn. Don't go crazy high with the heat once you put the cream in, but just mix that throughout and look at the beauty. Gonna give the onions just a sec because we're still waiting for the water to heat up. Let's taste this. Delicious. Does anyone else get confused by which handle goes with which burner on their stove? I forget which is which, so I have to look. I'm down here looking. So the caramelized onions, that's how I want them. They're like golden brown, they're wilted down a lot. The volume of them is probably like, I don't know, what is that? Probably like 1/2 cup, 3/4 cup, 2/3 cup maybe. So now we're gonna add those to the sauce, and this is gonna add a lot of delicious flavor. Stir those in. And now this sauce is ready for the pasta. So once you get to this point, you can turn off the sauce, and then we'll just wait until we're ready. We're gonna finish cooking the pasta in the saucepan, but we don't want the sauce to like overcook or burn. So we'll just turn it off and then we'll turn it back on later. And always taste and adjust seasoning. I'm gonna add some more salt. I feel like this could use a little more salt. But I should say you are gonna add pasta water, which is salty. So maybe wait to season until the end, actually, for this. The noodle that is authentic to this recipe at Carbone is pipe rigate. I had to order this online. Whole Foods, I think, has it. I don't know if they have it at every single store. I just ordered it because I was like, I don't wanna take a chance. Let's just get it. I was ordering other things for this dish. And this recipe calls for 8 ounces, which is half a box. One of our friends made it, and he used 16 ounces for this amount of sauce. And he's like, oh, I made it, but there wasn't really, it needed to be more saucy. And I was like, it broke my heart because I was like, oh no, is it confusing that the recipe is for 8 ounces? The recipe is for 8 ounces, double it if you want to use the whole box. I used half of this already, so there's only 8 ounces left in here. So let's go ahead and put that in. And we're gonna cook it 3 minutes less than the package directions, and we're gonna finish cooking it in the saucepan. I'm gonna set my timer for 5, we'll check on it, and then we're gonna transfer it over here to finish cooking. And I should also say, you could totally sub in just like regular rigatoni instead of the pipe rigate, but I do like the pipe rigate because it has this like curve, and that's how the sauce like pools up in the noodles. So you make your own decision though, whatever you wanna do. Oh. I forgot to set a timer. I'm sitting here tasting this. All right, so the pasta should be ready to transfer over in just a minute. So I turned the sauce back on to get it nice and warm. Ready for the pasta's arrival. They're about to get married. It's gonna be a beautiful fusion of flavors. So just taste the pasta. It should be very al dente. It needs to cook more in the sauce. Okay, perfect. Move it over directly with like a netted spoon like this. you actually want some of the pasta water to come with it. So don't worry about, you know, letting it drain off too much. I mean, you can so that you don't drip all over the stove like I'm doing, but don't worry about getting pasta water in here because we actually are gonna even add some more. What I've been doing is I use one of these cups just so I know about how much I'm adding. I'm gonna start by adding a 1/4 cup. And then I'm going to mix the pasta with the sauce, and it's going to be a beautiful union. Turn off the pasta water. And the reason why you mix pasta water in with the pasta sauce is the pasta water is all starchy because the pasta's been cooking in it. When you mix that with the sauce, it helps the sauce cling to the noodle, and it really helps them become one. So that's why in Italy, they always finish the noodles in the saucepan like I'm doing here, because then the sauce and the pasta really become one. The sauce clings to the noodle. The pasta even absorbs some of that flavor from the sauce because it's still cooking in it, right? And pasta's absorbing the liquid. So it's just gonna be the best. So this is looking gorgeous. So keep cooking it and then periodically taste it. If it needs to be more saucy, add more pasta water. If it tastes good, you're good. If it's al dente enough, then turn off the heat, or if it's the perfect amount of al dente. I feel like it still could cook a little longer. Look at how gorgeous that is. Right? Beautiful. I'm gonna add more pasta water because it's pretty thick. I think the sauce could be thinned out a little bit more and the noodle could be a little more tender. It's so good, oh my gosh. Okay, folks, this is done. Let's plate it up, let's taste test it. Oh, and the sauce is pooling in the noodles like I told you. It's so good, it's so good. Okay, now for my favorite part of the video. Just kidding. Talking to you guys the whole time is my favorite part of the video. Now for the taste test. Oh my gosh. Perfectly al dente noodle. The sauce is creamy, spicy. It's pooling up inside of the noodle. The caramelized onion adds this like buttery, like savory element. It was so incredible. I'm proud of myself for this one because I did it all by myself, developed this one. Yay. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really, truly appreciate you if you watched the whole thing. Love you guys so much. Like and subscribe. Let me know what else you'd like to see. And it's good to be back on YouTube. Mwah.